Hello, 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 everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome back. We're going to be reading the last part of this book, which basically just consists of a summary and then some framework for specific areas of your life, like triggers, things that sort of pop up in your life that are unexpected, and how to handle those when it comes to deciphering between your thinking and your thoughts. And that will include some exercises that the author was gracious enough to share with us. And of course, we are still reading Don't Believe Everything You Think, written by Joseph Nguyen. So this first part is going to be summary of non-thinking, and it's written in bullet points. So if you're more of a summary kind of person and not a listen to the whole thing kind of person or read the whole book kind of person, this will be perfect for you. Thinking is the root cause of all suffering. There is no other answer to why we feel negative emotions other than that it is from our own thinking. Everything can be traced back to our thinking, which makes problem solving very simple. Once we realize that our thinking is causing how we feel, we can let go of it and return to our natural state of peace, love, and joy. When we let go of our thinking, it creates space for us to allow all positive emotions we want to feel to surface from within us. We don't live in reality. We live in a perception of reality, which is created by our own thinking. Sorry, I thought that sentence was done. Thinking is not an effect of our experiences, but the cause of it. The thoughts in our minds are not facts. Our thinking only has control over us if we believe it. Let go of the belief in the thought to let go of the suffering. Our feelings have direct feedback and an innate internal guidance system to let us know whether we lack understanding or have absolute clarity of truth. Feelings are an invitation to deepen our understanding of the truth. We are in flow when we are not thinking. There is no separation between us, the universe, and all of life when we are not thinking. It is only when we think that we cut ourselves from source and feel separate from all things, or the birth of the ego. Thinking and thoughts are two different things. Thinking is a verb and is the act of negatively judging the thoughts in our minds, which causes suffering. Thoughts are nouns, which are inherently neutral until we judge them through thinking. We think because it is a biological response to survive. Our minds think only because it is trying to keep us alive, but it does not help us thrive. It is only concerned with our safety and survival, not our fulfillment. Thinking holds us back from our highest selves by causing negative feelings that prevent us from following our true calling. Our minds are limited to our personal experiences. If you want to receive insights, creativity, and knowledge beyond the capabilities of your current self, choose to listen to infinite intelligence rather than your finite mind. This infinite source of truth is always available to us if we allow it to be. Universal intelligence/mind is the energy that is everything in this universe. It is the source of where everything comes from that is before form, and we are made up of it. This energy has a feeling, which is the feeling of love, peace, joy, connection, and well-being. We embody this energy when we let go of our thinking. Since we are always connected to the same source of infinite intelligence, once we let go of our thinking, we access new thoughts, ideas, and insights, even if we have never experienced them. The more we trust our intuition and this infinite intelligence, the more we will receive these insights that are always available. Our default states are peace, love, joy, and all positive emotions. Only when we begin thinking are we taken out of that natural state. Once we let go of our thinking, we fall back into our natural state of being and experience all positive feelings effortlessly. We are ever only one thought or insight away from expanding our consciousness and experiencing a deeper feeling of love at all times, which comes from a state of non-thinking. Clarity is the nature of our minds and our default state. It is only when we get caught up in our thinking that things do not seem so. If we let go of our thinking, we return to our factory default setting of peace, love, joy, and a quiet mind. Nothing is inherently wrong with anyone or anything in the universe, but our thinking will make us think so. You do not have to be fixed because you are not broken. There is only something for you to realize and remember. Thinking is the root cause of our suffering. You do not have to do anything about your thinking. All you have to do is shift your understanding of thinking, and you will fall back into the truth of who you are, which is beyond your thinking, your body, and everything you think you know. As soon as you let go of your thinking, you become one with infinite intelligence, allowing you to feel a never-ending abundance of love, peace, and joy, always available to you because that is your true nature. And the last one, when you make space for infinite intelligence, it makes space for you. The more you trust it, the more it trusts you. There's never an end to how much space you can make for it. When you prioritize making space in your life and your mind for infinite intelligence to come through, your life will change. And now here we go into the first one is a guide to stop thinking. Eliminate or minimize things that may make you more prone to thinking, or things that cause you to be in a fight or flight mode. Eliminate or minimize as many things and actions in your life that do not inspire or excite you. Create an environment that helps put you into a non-thinking state. Create a morning activation ritual to help you start your day in a peaceful, non-thinking state. Use this space to receive insights from infinite intelligence to help you navigate life. And we did talk about that a few chapters back, creating a morning ritual and the success, or rather the people that are highly successful and happiest in life actually do these things. It's certain things that you say before you even get out of bed, a certain perspective and attitude that you decide what your day is going to be like and how it's going to work out for you. Create space in your day to decompress, relax, and return to a state of non-thinking. Write out things you can do during your day to help you achieve this. It could be journaling, taking a walk, meditating, playing with your pets, taking a nap, doing yoga, or anything relaxing. Framework for how to stop thinking. Realize thinking is the root of all suffering. Understand the true nature of thinking. Realize if you're suffering, you're thinking. Realize the difference between thinking and thoughts. Don't try to find the root cause. Thinking is the root cause. And number 2, create space for persistent negative thinking. Allow them to be there and acknowledge them for what they are. Understand that you are the sacred space that holds these feelings, but that you are not the feelings themselves. Don't be afraid to be alone with your thinking. Have the courage to allow it to be in your consciousness. Welcome it in and see that the thinking just wants to be acknowledged. I think that's a really important one, especially with negative thinking or sad or anything that makes you uncomfortable or not happy at the moment. Instead of just letting it flow through you, suppressing it down, which causes so many other things down the line, whether it's depression, anxiety, addiction, toxic relationships, you name it. These things all stem from not acknowledging and letting ourselves sometimes just sit with how we feel and know that it is not something that belongs to us, and then letting it go, not holding on to it for an unhealthy and extended amount of time, which I know sounds so much easier than it is. That's why we are relearning this together. Realize that negative thinking only has power over you if you believe in it. Once you allow them to exist in your consciousness and don't resist the feelings, you can look beyond them to see the truth. Every feeling contains a seed of truth, which will help deepen your awareness and allow you to experience life more fully. Number 3, once you acknowledge the thinking, allow it all to pass and allow yourself to just be without attaching to anything. Positive emotions like peace, love, and joy will naturally arise. Allow yourself to enjoy these emotions as they come up. If the negative feeling persists, repeat step 1 until you found some peace. And that was the very beginning of framework for how to stop thinking. Potential obstacles. Not wanting to let go of thinking because you think it got you to where you are. While this is true, you must realize that what got you here won't get you there. If you want to break the vicious cycle of suffering and the same self-destructive patterns repeating in your life, you'll have to do something different. Insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, but expecting a different result. The real question is, do you want to be at peace or not? If you understand that thinking is the root cause of all of your suffering and you do not want to be unhappy any longer, then you will be able to make the leap of faith into non-thinking. Number 2, the second obstacle, not enough faith. For there to even be a possibility that there could be a life filled with joy, peace, and love every single day, you must first believe that it is possible. One must also believe that they are part of something much bigger, which is the life force that has been taking care of them this whole time, or the universe/God. Having faith in something much bigger than we are without being able to fully comprehend it with our finite minds is the only way we can surrender our manual efforts and experience total peace in our lives versus worrying about everything. And the third obstacle, fear. Fear is a completely normal emotion when it comes to trusting in the universe, which is also the unknown. Fear indicates something is very important to us, which is a great sign. Everything we could ever want is on the other side of fear. The test we must pass to obtain all we desire is fear itself. The way out is through and going deep within yourself to see and know that you will be okay no matter what. This fear cannot and will not kill you, but if you do not confront it, it will take the life of all of your dreams instead. Thinking is the root cause of fear. If you don't think, there is no fear. Follow the framework for how to stop thinking to overcome fear and experience what life can be like without limits. How you will know if you're in a state of non-thinking. When you're not thinking, you experience complete peace, love, joy, passion, excitement, inspiration, bliss, and any positive emotion your consciousness can be aware of. You may have thoughts, but you are unattached to them and allow them to flow through you without any friction or pain from thinking. You don't feel any psychological or emotional suffering. You're not thinking about the past or future. They do not matter or exist to you because you're fully in the present moment. You feel like you're in flow. You lose sense of time, space, and even your sense of self. You feel one with life. This is how you know you are not thinking. Reflection prompts. So here's a couple of little exercises. On a scale of 1 to 10, how much did you think today? 1 being low, 10 being high. These are just a few things to think on. What percentage of your day was spent in fight or flight mode? What percentage was spent in a relaxed, calm state? A guide to creating a non-thinking environment. Your environment will either induce and support the state of non-thinking, or it can make you more prone to thinking. Although we create our reality from the inside out, our environment often still affects us. Since we are spiritual beings living in a physical world, we cannot completely detach from this 3D world just yet. So creating an environment conducive to non-thinking is essential. The best way to be productive is to eliminate distractions instead of trying to do more. Similarly, if we eliminate many things that we know trigger us to relapse back into thinking, we will be able to stay in a peaceful state of non-thinking much more easily. Remember that changing your environment and not yourself will not work long term. A delicate blend of both will be what you need to create a beautiful life you love to live. Remember that story we read earlier about the Zen master, the student that was trying to learn to meditate, but people kept disrupting him. If you recall that story I told very early on. So he finally found a boat, and even in the boat, things were distracting him, and he was letting it really, really anger him. He was trying to get away from any distraction so that he could accomplish this hours of meditation that was the most important part of his education there, his learning. And he finally realized that that wasn't what he needed to do. He needed to let go of the anger, let life happen around him, and look for that quiet within himself. So that's sort of the same message that he's sharing right here. Framework for removing thinking triggers. Number 1, perform an audit to see what things can make you more susceptible to thinking and make a list. A says, write down everything that comes to mind. What can help is to tap into your intuition and feel energetically in your body if this specific thing in your environment will help or hurt you. If you are in a calm, relaxed state, the answer will be obvious. If you're having trouble coming up with things, remember what tends to put you in a fight or flight mode, makes you anxious or overthink. Anything that puts you into a survival state will not help you maintain a state of non-thinking. And C, if it is difficult to think of things, you can keep a journal as you go about your week and write down anything that seems to put you into a fight or flight mode. You'll have a nice list by the end of the week. Number 2, organize all of the things you wrote down into categories. So A says, here are some examples of categories. Number 1 would be physical health. Physical health. What things that you put into your body can make you more prone to experience a fight or flight response? Anxiety, stress, overthinking, foods, stimulants, drinks. Number 2, what things in your physical environment can make you more prone to experience a fight or flight response? Anxiety, stress, overthinking. 3, your digital environment. What things on your phone, computer, or TV can make you more prone to experience a fight or flight response? Again, he's talking about anxiety, stress, and overthinking. And digital consumption, so not just what you're watching, but how much you're watching, I assume. What media or content, when you consume, can make you more prone to experience a fight or flight response? Anxiety, stress, overthinking. I saw this very interesting video of a woman who worked in the holistic field. She's an energy worker. And she said that your body obviously will inherently know what is for your highest good and what is not good for you. And she demonstrated this. She took a supplement, like a bottle of a supplement that she took every day. She put it in front of her sacral plexus and she asked, is this for my greatest and highest good? And she said, if your body naturally leans forward, that means that yes, it is for your greatest and highest good. And if you put something there and it is not, your body actually tilts backwards. If you are somebody who, and you do need to be a bit grounded and sort of plugged into a little bit more of listening to your intuition to sort of feel this a little bit more. But I swear, I went around with all of my supplements and put them to my solar plexus and asked this. I put a generic sunscreen against my belly and I asked if this was for my greatest and highest good, and my body swayed backwards. And inherently, I know that this particular sunscreen has about 6 cancer-causing ingredients. If you're not familiar with some of the things that are in most sunscreens, even the Mayo Clinic will give you a list of what should not be, and actually the sun sort of activates these chemicals that are in probably 99% of drugstore and even higher end sunscreens that first of all, don't serve a purpose. And second of all, are harmful to your health. And it was funny because my body just, I work on my chakras every day because I always do Kundalini. That includes meditation and yoga. So I was very in tune with it. And it was really interesting. And I just pictured myself down the vitamin aisle at a store, putting it up to my belly and asking this, and people thinking I'm a crazy lady. Anyways, that was just something interesting I learned. And if you're open to doing that, give it a try. And if it doesn't work for you, you need to ground yourself. Go outside, take off your socks and shoes, step on some grass, lean up against a tree, step on some dirt, concrete and asphalt, don't ground. But the earth, a tree, even touching leaves, anything you can do to get more grounded and in touch with yourself, that's essentially being more in touch with your intuition and your higher self or a higher consciousness. And if you're interested in giving that a try, you should. Okay, so we read all of that one. Oh, after you categorize everything, reorganize your list and begin ranking the items from things that affect you most to the least. Choose the top items from each list and create an action item on what you plan to do to remove it from your environment. Choose only what would be manageable and possible for you to remove without making you prone to even more stress. This would defeat the purpose of the exercise. Start small, and after you've become acquainted with the changes and seen the impact, you can begin eliminating other things. So don't try to do it with your kids or your spouse or anything like that. Nothing big. Your job, nothing like that. Start small. I'm just kidding about the kids and hubby thing. Framework for creating a non-thinking environment. Write down all of the things that help you get into a relaxed, peaceful, non-thinking state. These can be things like exercise, meditation, having a certain genre of music on, location, etc. Organize the items on your list into categories, and here's some examples of categories. Number 1 is physical health. What things you put into your body to help you feel healthy, sustainably energized, and peaceful. Oh, and I forgot to mention, with that little test you can do it with food, you can do it with things you put onto your skin, with supplements, medications, anything that affects your body, anything at all that you're going to put onto it or into it, you can do it with. Number 2, your physical environment. What things in your physical environment help you feel aligned with your divine self? And your digital environment. What things on your phone, computer, or TV help you to feel aligned with your divine self? And digital consumption. What media or content do you consume that helps you feel aligned with your highest self? So the opposite, you're going to make a list of the things that are triggers or possible triggers for you in all of the same categories, and then things that are not, that actually bring you into a state of non-thinking. Rank the items in each category from the most impactful to the least impactful to help you get into and remain in a non-thinking state. Choose the top items from each list and create an action item on how you will incorporate it into your life. Try not to do too much at once because it can be overwhelming. Do what is manageable for you for now, and you can add on more later after you've become acquainted with it. Create an activation ritual or morning routine that helps you get into a state of non-thinking and enables you to align with your highest self. Plan out your ideal morning routine that you can do now. Start small and don't overwhelm yourself. Ensure you have time and space to create it. You have time to create space, like meditation, yoga, or any similar spiritual practice to help you tune into infinite intelligence. How you start your day will create momentum for how your day will go. If you start your day by checking your phone, emails, and what you have to do, you're starting your day in a stressful flight or flight mode of thinking, which will carry you on for the rest of the day. But don't go believing that if you start your day like that, that's simply how your day has to go. You can turn it around. It is not too late. This just gives you the highest success at having a wonderful day, a day where things go your way and things always work out in your favor. Suppose you begin your day in a peaceful state and perform a routine that gets you into a state of non-thinking. In that case, you will carry that momentum through your day, and it will be much harder to get caught up in external things that could make you relapse into thinking and stress. This is why all the greatest spiritual masters have morning rituals or routines. Framework for implementing non-thinking into your work. So it's going to be kind of the same thing. Create a list of things you do in your work that drain you of energy, things that you don't like doing or feel overall heavy in your work. Create a list of things you do in your work that give you energy, things that make you feel inspired, energetic, alive, and light. Go back through your whole list and give a rating for each activity that you do on a scale from 1 to 10. 1 being extremely energy draining, 10 making you feel the most alive and inspired when you do it. Each week, eliminate 1 to 3 things from your energy draining list and do more of the activities that are a 9 and 10 on your list. I don't really know how that would work for some people. How do you just eliminate things from your work and tell your boss, like, that doesn't make me happy. It really drains my energy. So I'm eliminating that from my list. I don't really know where I fall in line with this, because what if you're a doctor or a surgeon or, any job you have is important. You contribute to society. And especially if it's something that you really love to do and there's just a few things you don't like to do, but you have to do, it's part of your job. I'm not really sure how I feel about that, but there are many jobs, especially if you're self-employed or you're the supervisor, or there really are things you can just ixnay from your routine that you've sort of gotten into the habit of doing, but that you don't really need to do. I suppose that could work. You'd really have to tailor it to whatever you do for a living. The goal is to get to a point where you're spending 80% of your work time doing things that are a 9 and 10 on your list. A guide to overcoming destructive habits and behaviors. As you create more space and begin not thinking as much, you'll quickly discover that you will become aware of a lot of negative, destructive habits you may have that keep making you more prone to suffering. This is completely okay. Please do not beat yourself up, because it will only worsen things. Here is a more detailed guide below that will help you break any destructive habits. Number 1, become aware of what behavior you want to change and confirm that you genuinely want to alter it. I think this will only work if it's something you really want to change. A lot of us have bad habits that we're like, you know what? I don't want to stop, and I'll stop when I want to stop. It just is what it is. Everyone's in a different place. There's no wrong place. Understand that if you want to change and stop the vicious cycle of suffering, you will have to change and let go of beliefs you're holding on to that are creating the suffering. If you don't want to change it, there's no point in continuing forward. But if you do want to change, let's begin the process of letting go. So write down in exact, meticulous detail what happens with this behavior, how many times it happens, when it happens, etc. Don't spare any details. What are you feeling in the moment right before you begin the behavior? What's the feeling that triggers the behavior? Be honest with yourself. What specific thinking patterns are going on? What are you saying to yourself in the moment when this happens? Describe it in exact detail. What beliefs do you have about this habit? What conclusions have you made that compel you to feel like you have to perform this behavior or action? How do you feel when you believe that thinking? What do you believe will happen if you don't perform the behavior? In other words, what consequences do you believe will happen if you don't perform the action? Is it absolutely 100% true that it will happen if you don't perform the behavior? Can you see how destructive this thinking is and how much it causes you to suffer? Are you willing to let this thinking and behavior go now? Consult your inner wisdom and highest self. What is it trying to tell you? What is it trying to help you learn? How is it telling you to restore balance in your life? How is it telling you to grow right now? Create space and wait for an insight from infinite intelligence as to why you actually want to change. When you receive the insight, allow yourself to fully feel the freedom, peace, and joy. Feel the weight that lifted off your shoulders. You'll know you did it right if you physically and energetically feel lighter and you don't see the action or habit in the same way anymore. Fully immerse yourself in the feeling of deep gratitude and just allow yourself to be. And write down any insight you've had and journal your experience so you can have documentation of these miracles in your life. What to do if the feeling comes back up again? Follow this guide again until you have an insight or breakthrough that completely changes how you look at life. All right, I'm going to end with the acknowledgments because, well, let me see here. I'll read it. I always read the afterword and the intro, so I'm going to add it on. This is our longest video, but we are done after this. So if you don't want to stay for this, totally fine. If you do, totally fine. Thank you, Sydney Banks, for sharing the principles you have discovered with the world. Because of you, I have found the truth within myself and now have the same privilege of sharing it with the world. Thank you to my teachers and mentors, Joe Bailey and Michael Neal, for sharing the 3 principles with me, which have changed my life forever. I am eternally grateful for your generosity and heart of service that keeps giving. Thank you for all you do and will continue to do for others. Thank you to all of my dear friends and family. And then he names a bunch of people here. For helping me discover my divinity and encouraging me to write this book. Without any of you, this book would not be in existence. Please know that because of you, the impact you have on me and anyone who will ever come across this book is infinite and will continue to change the lives of generations yet to be born. And then he's thanking his wife here, which is, he calls Kenna. Thank you, Kenna, for being one of the loveliest, effervescent souls I have ever experienced, and for showing me what true unconditional love is. Your beautiful presence perpetually humbles me, and I can never thank you enough for the gift of your never-ending love for me and everyone you meet. Okay, that was less of an afterword. I thought it was going to be a little bit more about the book, so apologize. That was really just a... Oh, it says it right up here, and I think I even said it, acknowledgement. I don't know what I was thinking. Okay, so we are all finished with this book officially, and if you're interested in more of his work, he did provide us with a list on his other books. So this one, Beyond Thoughts, an exploration of who we are beyond our minds. Healing Anxiety, an Overthinking Journal and Workbook, and it's also titled Let Go of Anxiety, Overcome Fear, Find Peace, and End Suffering. Boundaries equals freedom, how to create boundaries that set you free without feeling guilty. That sounds like a good one. The Art of Creating, how to create art that transforms yourself and the world. And he says he also has courses on writing and creativity. And you can find his books and courses at his website, which is www.josephnguyen.org. And his books can also be found on Amazon and many other online sites that sell books. Okay, there's our shout out. All right, so we are all finished with this book officially. Thank you all so much for joining me on this journey. I really thoroughly enjoyed this book. I found it very helpful, insightful, full of common sense, but also profound insights. I found many in here that seemed oh so simple, but at the same time, something we just don't think about often. So anyways, I will post a short as soon as I think we're going to read our last Archangelology book. So I will be starting that in a few days and I will share that with you in a short. And in the meantime, I will sprinkle a few more of my short stories from The Power of Kindness by T.S. Arthur. So until next time, please take care of yourself. Please take care of those around you. I love you all very much and I will see you all again soon for our next book. Until then, take care. Bye-bye.